For 25 years, Melissa Harper was just a name on a missing persons flyer. A bright-eyed 12-year-old who vanished without a trace. Her case went cold. Her town moved on. But her killer, he sat at the dinner table every night, across from her grieving mother. Welcome back to True Crime Files, where we dive deep into America's darkest secrets. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell, because some stories refuse to stay buried. Ashwood, Missouri, spring 1999. 12-year-old Melissa Harper was last seen riding her pink bike home from a friend's house, a route she'd taken 100 times before, but on that evening, she never made it home. Her mother, Diane, called police within the hour. Search parties were formed, helicopters, dogs, but Melissa had disappeared, like smoke. Her bike was found days later in a wooded area. No signs of struggle, no DNA, no leads. Her stepfather, Paul Benton, stood beside Diane through every interview, every tear. But what no one knew was that Paul had secrets buried deeper than anyone suspected. Over time, whispers began to surface. Melissa had become withdrawn in the months before she vanished. One teacher noted she was jumpy whenever her stepfather picked her up. A neighbor claimed to hear shouting late at night. And someone even reported seeing Paul burning clothes in a fire pit shortly after the disappearance. But with no body, no evidence, and no witnesses, Paul Benton was never considered a suspect. In 2024 to 25 years later, construction workers on private land just outside Ashwood unearthed something chilling. Human remains buried in a sealed septic tank. Forensic teams worked fast. Dental records confirmed the identity. It was Melissa Harper. After 2.5 decades, she had finally been found. Even more shocking, the site used to belong to Paul's cousin, less than a 10-minute drive from the Harper house. New technology gave old evidence a second life. Phone records showed Paul's location near the burial site on the night Melissa vanished. DNA swabs from the remains confirmed sexual assault, and the match was undeniable: Paul Benton. Confronted with the evidence, Paul finally confessed. He had been abusing Melissa for months. The night she threatened to tell her mother, he struck her. One blow, fatal. Then he hit her body like trash. Paul Benton, now 64, was arrested and charged with murder, sexual assault, and concealment of a corpse. For Diane, the betrayal was unfathomable. The man she loved, the man who comforted her during sleepless nights, was the monster who stole her child. Melissa was laid to rest, again, this time with justice finally on the horizon. Paul Benton remains behind bars awaiting trial. Prosecutors are pushing for life without parole. Sometimes the scariest monsters are the ones we invite into our homes. This was the story of Melissa Harper. Another name, another tragedy in America's long history of buried secrets.